My name is Paul Young, and I'm the author of The Shack. I want to invite you on an adventure with me and with the book. A lot of you have read it, you have questions. Some of you have just heard about it and you have questions. This is a book that allows us to explore relationship with the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Questions that we have about hurt and loss and grief. Questions about wonder and beauty and joy. What does it mean to live a life of faith? What do we do about death? Why do tragic things happen to us? These are the questions that we want to explore, and I would love you to come with me. This is an invitation. In the course of this series, you're going to learn a lot about me. You're going to learn a lot about Mackenzie and the characters in The Shack. But I promise to be honest with you about my history, the good and the bad and the ugly. I wrote a little book for my kids for Christmas, The Shack. Who knew? I didn't. My family didn't. Nobody did. And it became a centerpiece for a massive conversation. And let me say this, I think we are on the cusp of a reformation. Not just a revival where we're trying to put life into old systems and institutions, but a massive change in the way we think as a human race. We have to find a way forward. And I think it's centered right in the relationship of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Shack, and most of my writing, is trying to reinterpret theologians so that what they're saying is accessible to the rest of us. Three of the major themes you're going to hear repeatedly is that God is good all the time. That God is good all the time. And we're going to hear that God is a relational being, and therefore we who are made in the image of God, relationship is at the center of our transformation. We're designed to be relational beings. And this God who is good is involved in our relationships and in the details of our lives. The third of these themes is that the one matters. This is something that is unique, I think, in the landscape of religious ideas, that the one matters. You remember those three parables? There's a woman who is seeking a coin. It's her coin, and she's lost it inside the house. And she searches until she finds it and then throws this huge celebration. All the language about the light that she lights, it's all language that is used for the Holy Spirit. And then the next parable is about the shepherd who goes searching for the one. He leaves the 99 and goes looks for the one. The shepherd is Jesus. And then it talks about the Father who waits for the Son to return, and also the invitation to the religious older brother to come and join the celebration. A Father who's not interested in someone's confession, but runs down the road to embrace. And in that story, it's the religious person who has the hardest time accepting the full-on, frivolous, relentless, careless grace of God. This is a God who pursues every single human being, who climbs into our world and ignites the things that matter to us so that we can participate, so that we can become fully human and fully alive. I often get asked, how autobiographical is The Shack? I don't think a writer can write much fiction without putting themselves in it. But I'm writing a book, a story for my kids, and I'm wrapping up my history in it. I had a writer from Nashville who sent me an email shortly after The Shack came out. And she said, I don't know anything about you. And nobody did. I have no clue who you are, but my sense is that Missy represents something murdered in you as a child. And Mackenzie, he's you as an adult trying to figure out how to wrap himself around this loss. She nailed it. I'm Mackenzie. I'm Missy. And that's another story. I want to read you something out of the foreword. It comes early on in the book. Mac has been married to Nan for just more than 33 mostly happy years. He says she saved his life and paid a high price to do it. For some reason beyond understanding, she seems to love him now more than ever, even though I get the sense that he hurt her something fierce in the early years. I suppose that since most of our hurts come through relationships, so will our healing. And I know that grace rarely makes sense for those looking in from the outside. Story is powerful. We know that. We can feel it. I think we have an affinity for story because every single human being is a story. You don't just have one, you are one. I think that's why Jesus loved parables, because they were stories. You would remember them. And parables are true, even though they're fiction. Even jokes are stories, especially if they've got a great twist in them. This guy gets to heaven. Peter, who seems to be the guard of the pearly gates, comes over to talk to him. The guy says, "What do I do, Peter? Do I just walk in?" Peter says, "Well, it depends." "It depends on something." He said, "Oh, yeah." He says, "What does it depend on?" "Well, it depends on how many points you have." "Well, how many points do I need?" "Well, you need 100. And the guy thinks, 100, okay. He said, "Well, for the last 15 years, I've been Saturday nights, down at the soup kitchen helping out and working with the poor." Peter goes, "Oh, yeah, I'll totally give you a point for that." "A point?" He says, "Oh, yeah, totally worth a point." He says, "Well, I was a pastor for 35 years. I mean, I married people, but I preached and I buried people." And Peter goes, "I don't know." That's 35 years. "Okay, I'll give you a point for that." Now the guy's a little worried. It's like, that's sort of my whole life. I've got 2 points. And just then, he spots another fella from the same town as him. Nice guy. He has a little coffee shop downtown. He's a C&E Christian, comes to church on Christmas and Easter. And the guy walks right past them and in through the pearly gates. And he says, "Peter, are you telling me that guy, he's got 100 points?" And Peter says, "Nah, he just doesn't play this game." You see, we love story. And a story like that kind of pushes the point past our, as C.S. Lewis would call them, our watchful dragons. A parable has a way of climbing into our hearts in a way that sometimes somebody telling us face-to-face data and information and theology and doctrine just doesn't do. We have this inclination toward certainty, and I think that's why we like religion more than we like relationships. We think that doubt and questions are somehow wrong. Relationship is full of mystery. Those of us who grew up in the church like I did, we knew it was about relationship, but we were actually then given doctrine and theology. And we knew there had to be more. There had to be more than just a list of things to do and not do. And this is the value of story. We no longer consider someone as a category, believer or unbeliever. All of us are moving in terms of our relationship with God, with ourselves, with our families, with our community, with our enemies. And when we enter into the story of another human being, or the story of God's activity even in our own lives, we enter something grander. something more elegant, something that we've been longing for. This is about relationship. This is about story. Relationship is at the center of everything. It's estimated in this world right now that 75% of the entire population of the human race have experienced either direct betrayal, loss trauma, or accidental loss trauma. And almost all of our losses center around relationship. God is a relational being. Why does that matter? It means that God has never been alone. And we're made in the image of God, and that means we have never been alone. In fact, loneliness, as opposed to solitude, which is a very positive thing, that's taking a break to begin to think about our world, ourselves, our family, others. Solitude has a place. It's a place of rest. It's a place of recharging, a place of enlightenment in the sense that the Holy Spirit teaches us in the quiet. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about loneliness, the sense that nobody cares and that nobody thinks that I matter. Loneliness, that I am alone. The truth is, you've never been alone. God has never been alone. God has never done anything alone. This is the beauty of the Trinity, that there is a relationship that has always existed between three, and none of them has ever been alone. But none of them has ever been diminished or absorbed either. That's the beauty. This is a great dance of mutuality, and we're made in the image and nature and likeness of God, and we're not alone. The first not good that you will read in Scripture is that Adam believed he was alone. He'd never been alone. He wasn't created alone. He was surrounded inside the love of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But that's the first not good. And anything that is not good cannot originate in God. So one of the greatest lies that we have to deal with is that we're alone. My whole life, because of shame, because of the things that I've been through, it drove me toward isolation. Even in the modern world right now, we've begun to understand that addiction is empowered by isolation. It's within community that a person becomes a person. This is why the idea of a community of faith, or a community of family, a community of race, a community of ethnic culture, those things matter to us. Family matters to us. Friendship matters to us. It matters deeply because we are relational beings made in the image of a God who is a relational being. We don't think there's anything deeper about the character and nature of God than relationship. I had a big man come and slip me a note at one of the places that I was speaking in. And he's a big guy, and he doesn't look at me, and he gives me a hug on the side, slips me this note, and leaves. And I don't remember it until the next day, and I pull it out of my pocket and I read it. On one side are 2 pages of all the reasons that the shack is heresy. But on the other side is a handwritten note. And he says, Paul, I didn't come here tonight expecting to run into the love of God. I came here to warn God's people about the wolf in sheep's clothing. I need some help. I don't know what the love of God is. I've been in the ministry for 42 years, and I don't know what John 17 is talking about when it refers to the love of God. That's the situation a lot of us are in. When you write a book, you never know how it's going to impact my kids, and then how it's spilled over. But I made a little turn of phrase that became really significant. We've all heard that, well, God loves you. But it's kind of like, well, God loves everyone. And I changed it. I moved it from the subject, God who loves, to the object, you. And I turned the phrase and it came out, I'm especially fond of you. That was a game changer. Because we know God loves us, but we think we're one of a mass of billions of people. The one matters. He'll leave the 99 for the one, and you're the one. I'm the one. Papa's especially fond of me, and Papa's especially fond of you. I have a friend, I have a lot of friends, but I didn't used to. But I have more friends now as I've allowed people into my world, as I've moved away from isolation. And I have a friend named Scott. And Scott is the first man in my life who told me, I don't care what a mess you make of your world, I'm not leaving. That was incredibly powerful for me. To have a man say in my life, I'm not leaving. I had never experienced that before. And he will always have that special place of being the first person that told me that I would never be alone. I've come to understand that I've never been alone, period. That any sense of being alone was a lie. I just had to learn to take the risk of trusting that I wasn't alone. And then as I've done that and opened up my world, I found that I was swarmed inside a community of relationships. We get hurt by relationships, no doubt about it. And it's kind of a bummer that our healing is going to come through relationships. We'd rather that God heal us without anybody else finding out about it. But the dynamic of relationship becomes the crucible for transformation. This is where we're going to change. And I'm welcoming you into the world of the shack. Get to know Mackenzie, who is me, who is broken, and Missy. Get to know Nan and Willie and Papa and Jesus and Sariu. Welcome to the world of the shack. So most of our hurt comes through relationships, and most of our healing will also come through relationships. We have an opportunity in each episode to step back a little bit. We need to do this. I know the world is screaming at you from all directions. There's agendas, there's all this activity and demands on your life. And we need to step back and think about who we are and who God is to us and what matters to us. Think about the 3 things that are most important to you in your life and how you are feeding those or giving space for them. Relationships are at the center of everything, and we've all been hurt. So who right now in your world is part of that hurt? And be open, listen to the Holy Spirit. Say a prayer in the only way you know how. A prayer is just a conversation with God anyway. And just say, help. What do I do now? What's next? And listen for the nudge, the idea, the thought. That's what I'm going to leave you with this first episode. And we're going to talk about this and a lot of other things over the episodes to come. Thank you for honoring me to be a part and participate in your journey as well.